till we touch the sky. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The ESports Oval League driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The ESports Oval League driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The ESports Oval League with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the sky. Plus a green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the sky. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The ESports Oval League driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of mean. The ESports Oval League driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The ESports Oval League with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the sky. Plus a green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of me. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of me. The esports Oval League driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The esports Oval League with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the title down. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. From the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge, pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge, drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops, time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. So here's to the racers, the Oval League's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the grind, couple legends of me. The esports oval league driving the arcade. Racing in the grind, couple legends of me. The esports oval league driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The esports oval league with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the sky. Plus the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one will take the time. Flag the checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. So here's to the racers, the oval league's pride. Through every twist and turn we ride or die. In the Grind Cup Series we find who we are, chasing glory and victory beneath the virtual stars. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of me. The esports oval league driving the arcade. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're legends of me. The esports oval league driving the arcade. Under the lights, engines roar, we're ready to go. The esports oval league with the best race to show. Grinding gears, chasing dreams on the virtual track. No looking in the rear view, there's no turning back. Every lap it's a battle, every corner's a fight. Precision in the daytime, adrenaline at night. The Grind Cup Series, championship and mission. The goal we all crave, speed and skill define the legends we raise. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. Plus the green flag to checkered, it's a razor thin edge. Pushing harder with each second, living on the ledge. Drafting on the straightaway, bumper to bumper. A split second mistake and you're going under. Pit stops time, perfect strategy in hand. Every driver, every team takes a bold stand. In the world of esports, this is where we collide. The Grind Cup unites us with passion and pride. Racing in the Grind Cup, we're burning the turns. Throttle wide open, feel the engines churn. It's the heart of the league where champions rise, pushing limits in the oval till we touch the skies. The tires screech, hearts pound, adrenaline's fire. Lap by lap, chasing that finish line desire. Rookies and legends all fight for the crown, but only one.
ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Flatout Racing Network's continued coverage of the 2025 season for the Esports Oval League's Grind Cup Series, as we are here at the high banks of Talladega Super Speedway. It's the last race of the round of 8. When the checkered flag waves here this evening, we will know the championship 4 that will duke it out next week at the Homestead Miami Speedway, with the hopes of being the champion here of the Grind Cup Series in the year 2025. 100 laps around this 2.66 mile super speedway. One driver is already locked in. Another driver can easily point their way in tonight, and then the final 2 spots are still up for grabs, with 5 drivers still in the hunt, but they have some different scenarios in how to get there. I'm Seth Cole. My broadcast colleague Scott Rankin is currently en route to Bathurst for supercar action, so hope he has a blast with that as we get ready for tonight's festivities. So there's currently a lot of different variables when it comes to super speedway racing. We talk about how difficult it can be to get a group on and off of pit road altogether. We can talk about finding your teammates or your alliances, whether it be friends you're just comfortable working with or maybe manufacturer alliances during the course of a race throughout the field. And then, of course, doesn't matter if it's Talladega or Daytona, when you're at a super speedway, there's always the possibility of the dreaded big one around every corner. One thing that we're going to be talking about here tonight that's going to play a huge factor into everybody's championship 4 clinching scenarios is field size, as our 8 playoff contenders are in the field here this evening, but only 6 other drivers are joining them for the green flag. A total of 14 drivers going to be taking the green flag here in tonight's penultimate race. What does that mean for a number of drivers? Those that could have easily pointed their way into the final 4 now are possibly in must-win, borderline must-win scenarios. We'll give you all of the criteria here before these drivers get ready to go green. So only driver that comes into this race knowing for sure they are locked in before the green flag even drops is Alan Dobbs. We saw him go to victory lane a couple of weeks ago in the desert at Phoenix. Trey Whitehead comes into this race 23 points above the cut line. His goal here this evening, score stage points of any kind. He could finish 10th in both stages 1 and 2. He would have enough of a points cushion that he mathematically could not fall below 4th in the standings, and he would lock himself into the championship 4. Then it starts getting interesting. Tom Bourne, 6 points to the good. He needs, again, much like Trey Whitehead, stage points here tonight. Christian Ruse is only 1 point above 5th in the standings, Noah Jackson. That is the fight for the final cutoff 4th position in the championship 4 right now. Those two, the 14 and the 20, where we will have a lot of our focus, especially when we draw close to the end of each of our respective stages, and of course, the end of the race. Tom Bourne will also be a driver we'll keep an eye on during the course of this one in relation to the 14 and the 20. Now, Jeff Kleinsma, who's going to line up 3rd for this race, he had a really good qualifying effort. He, if we had had a bigger field, could have easily pointed his way into the championship 4. Now, being 13 points back, he's going to need a little bit of help. He is more than likely going to need to finish, I would say, anywhere from 3rd to 5th in the 2 stages, and probably finish top 5 to have a shot. If he doesn't get those stage points I just talked about, he's going to be in a must-win situation. For Ryan Catalano, 15 points below the cut line. He's almost in the same type of scenario as Jeffrey Kleinsma, plus he needs to make sure he finishes ahead of Kleinsma, Noah Jackson, and Christian Ruse in the 2 stages. If he doesn't do that, guess what? He is in must-win territory. And then for Peyton Holland, who lines up on the pole position here tonight, the goal is pretty much clear. It's a must-win scenario for driver number 19 if he is going to advance his way into the championship 4. He came into tonight 21 points below the cut line, fairly similar to the number that Trey Whitehead was above the cut line coming into tonight. So it's going to be an all-out full-court press for Peyton Holland to have a chance of advancing to Homestead next week. 13 drivers took time. You saw them all there listed on your starting lineup. Brandon Kelly, the only driver who did not clock in a lap time. He will start 14th in tonight's race. These drivers do have one faster pair at their disposal should they need it. Hopefully they won't. With a smaller field, hopefully we'll see good long green flag racing. Our stage is tonight, 25, 50, and then to the conclusion of the race at lap 100. Normally when they end up putting these stages together, they put the stage caution just outside of reach of being able to make it the entire way on what you've got in the tank. So we're probably going to have to see these drivers hit pit road before the completion of lap 25. Question will be just exactly when. Will it be halfway through the run, 3/4 of the way through the run, or maybe just a couple laps prior to those stage points being handed out? Here we go. Green flag is in the air, getting ready to set our championship 4 here tonight at Talladega. Trey Whitehead having some problems there connection-wise. Saw him blinking as he was coming off the grid. And looks like he's going to drop to the rear of the field, going all the way up there to that third lane. Peyton Holland is also, it appears, going to drop to the rear of the field, which is surprising. I would have thought that he would have tried to stay up at the front as long as possible, but he will yield the top position to the 15 of Jeff Kleinsma. Tom Boren trying to get something going up in that second lane. Now normally when you look at a field of 14 cars, if you join us on Thursday nights, or now the current Super Speedway Series we've got run on Sunday nights, soon to have a Super Speedway Series on Saturday nights on the NR 2003 side, usually the smaller the pack, the more difficult it is to generate the energy necessary to create a run. Not the case in iRacing. Take a look at Tom Bourne, Patrick McQuaid, and Ryan Catalano on that outside line. 3 cars against about 8 or 9 on the inside line, and they are making it work. Bourne will go to the lead. McQuaid will follow him into second, and now Catalano is left all by his lonesome on the top side. You can push and tandem with these cars on the iRacing side. So we will definitely still be able to see drivers hooking up and making passes for position. Looks like some early issues for Brandon Kelly. Looks like he might have actually come down pit road just before we went green. I don't know if he might have come down and topped off before we went green. He's 17 seconds behind the leaders right now, but if they were borderline short of making it to the end of the stage, was that a strategy call by the 12? He's lost this lead pack, so that's not going to help him at all in terms of his lap times, but an unusual strategy, I guess we could say. You see, he is all by himself back here with absolutely no benefit of draft. Back at the 77 of Chris Hubka, already some scuff marks there on the left front, right around that air intake on the front grille. Undoubtedly from giving some bumps and some shoves to the car in front. There's another big one to the back of Tom Bourne. So far in this round, only one playoff driver has gone to victory lane. As last week at Las Vegas, we saw Dalton McKenney, former playoff contender, but no longer in contention for the championship, pick up his 3rd win on the season. So now as Tom Bourne goes to the outside here, looks like he's looking to drop to the back, which I think this is a strategy call to save fuel. But even if we have a playoff driver go to victory lane here tonight, of our remaining 7 drivers not yet locked in in this round of 8, we are guaranteed a minimum of 2 drivers will have to point their way into the Final 4. And we're pretty much split down the middle here of 7 drivers who could win their way into that Final 4, and then 7 drivers who, if they won, it would put all the emphasis on points. That'd be the 6 drivers that are non-playoff contenders to green here tonight, as well as the 35 of Alan Dobbs, because Dobbs is already locked in with his victory back at Phoenix. So you saw Peyton Holland fall to the back early after starting from the pole. You saw Tom Bourne give up the race lead. You're probably wondering, well, why are they doing that when they have the track position? Well, depending on what the fuel window is for these drivers, if you are out in front in clean air, yes, you're ahead of all the action behind you. A lot of drivers deem it the safest area of the field to be in at a super speedway, but at the same time, you are creating the draft for everyone else behind you. Guess what? They are getting much better fuel mileage than you are. Normally, the leader for the majority of a run is going to be shorter on fuel than everybody else behind him. So I believe for Peyton Holland and Tom Bourne, they kind of threw out the parachute, dropped to the back, so that way with the benefit of draft, they'd be able to go a little bit further on a run before having to make the dive onto pit road. Ryan Catalano swung around the outside of Patrick McQuaid and then pulled down to the double yellow line. Catalano looking maybe for a valuable lap-led bonus point here. Christian Ruse is going to fight him for it, though. We've already had Tom Bourne out in front. Christian Ruse looking to do the same. Valuable bonus points here for a couple of drivers that are single-digit points ahead of the cut line coming into tonight. The driver that those 2 Chevrolet drivers need to worry about would be the 20 of Noah Jackson, who right now is just kind of riding behind his teammate Alan Dobbs. It's that second bright red line racing sponsored Toyota back there, unofficially in the 7th position. As you saw, Ryan Catalano now dropped to the back. He fought up there to get the bonus point for the lap led. Christian Ruse now the race leader, getting a push from number 5 of Chris Hubka. A smaller field as well increases your odds of maybe going to victory lane. There's a lot of drivers here that are still looking for their first victory of the season, including your entire top 4. Ruse, Hubka, McQuaid, and Kleinsma, all looking for that first checkered flag of 2025. A couple of other drivers looking for their first victories on the season would include Matt Davies, Peyton Holland, Matt Mettler, and Brandon Kelly. So interesting, you kind of have 2 different schools of thought here. These Chevrolets have gotten themselves up to the front. They don't necessarily, at least right now, look like they are saving quite as much fuel as the Toyotas behind them. Look at the gap from Kleinsma back to Dobbs. Dobbs is leading the Toyota Camry train with Jackson, Whitehead, Davies behind him. So it looks like different teams, different manufacturers with different strategies calls here, the beginning portion of this race. And we are fast approaching halfway through this first stage already. He's right on board with the 35. Take a listen, see if we can hear anything of him possibly trying to save some fuel here. difficult to tell, though you saw him kind of back off a little bit as they went through the tri-oval and approached the start-finish line. Christian Ruse continuing to show the way here in that number 14. Be huge for Christian Ruse if he were able to pick up a stage victory, because that would be 10 valuable stage points. And the driver that he's having to worry about right now, Noah Jackson in the 6th position, if he can finish ahead of the 20, that would keep him, at least momentarily according to live points, still in the top 4 in standings. Chris Hubka putting some really good bumps, some tight draft here. Down the back straightaway on Christian Ruse. Obviously, you'd have to think that different teams have different agendas for specific drivers. Hubka, McQuaid, look like they're trying to help the 14, maybe the 15 of Kleinsma there behind them as well. You got to think that it's maybe a all-hands-on-deck situation for Whitehead Motorsports and trying to get the 20 of Noah Jackson into the Final 4. Dobbs is already locked in. Trey Whitehead looks in good shape to point his way in. Brock Whitehead not a playoff driver, so you got to think a lot of their efforts would be in helping the 20. And then the question would be, what about those other drivers there? Do they kind of freelance and work with whoever will work with them? Catalano and Holland and Tom Bourne. What type of a situation do they have? Those 3 drivers are all kind of working together right now, nose to tail, from 9th to 11th. Trey Whitehead back here right now in the 12th position. Again, looking for stage points. If he can wrap up, I would say even if Trey Whitehead could finish in the top 5 here in stage 1, I think it's safe to say, even as early as this first stage, he would lock himself into the Final 4. He would have built enough of a cushion with only 14 drivers on the racetrack that I think he would be safe to advance, even if he finished dead last in this race. Which again, we've mentioned, if any of these drivers run into trouble, they do have a faster pair available to them should they need it, so they get a little bit of a mulligan here. Also, interesting point of note, with all the drivers that took the green flag here tonight, we are guaranteed a different super speedway winner this season, as our 3 previous winners at the high banks of Daytona and Talladega were not in the field. Christopher Reese won the season opener at Daytona. Tanner Marr won the first Talladega race. The night race at Daytona was won by Dalton McKenney. None of those drivers are in tonight's field here, so we are guaranteed a brand new super speedway winner, and we will go 4 for 4 in different drivers winning at the super speedways here in 2025. Going to be 10 laps to go in this first stage, this time by. Question is, can these drivers make it on fuel? And if they can't, just how soon do they come down pit road? There's your answer. Tom Bourne already in the 16. But coming down by his lonesome. We'll have to see where he cycles around to, and will this draw more drivers to pit road or not? Doesn't look like anybody else, at least for the time being, adhering to that same strategy. Tom, he needs to hope that whenever everybody else makes a pit stop, that he's going to cycle up into the lead pack, or at least up into the top 10 to get some valuable stage points at the conclusion of lap 25. according to scoring. Tom has fallen a lap down to the leaders. As I believe, double checking, I believe he got hit with a speeding penalty on entry. Held for an extra 30 seconds. That is a crucial mistake there for Tom Bourne. Now, the one thing that he will have that benefits him is he will probably be the first car one lap down, barring anybody else having a speeding penalty when they make their pit stop. If he gets the free pass, he'll get back in the lead lap with the stage caution. The problem is, this more than likely effectively takes him out of getting any stage points at the conclusion of this first stage. Costly mistake there for a driver that came into this race +6 to the cut line. And if they can execute a good pit stop here, then Christian Roos and Noah Jackson could both potentially leapfrog Tom Bourne in the live standings and move up into the third and fourth spots in the live playoff point standings respectively. As looks like some hard saving going on for a number of the Chevy drivers. Meanwhile, these Toyota drivers, they want to go. Matt Mettler and Ryan Catalano going to swing around the outside, and they will go to the point. Patrick McQuaid looked like he thought about doing the same thing, but now he's getting freight trained up there. We'll tuck back in line behind Kleinsma, just in front of Alan Dobbs. Dobbs has built a bit of a gap back to his teammate Noah Jackson. Now looks like they're starting to draft back up here, but a lot of hard saving going on here for the Chevrolets and the Toyotas. These Toyotas, however, on their own agenda here, as doesn't look like they are in fuel reserve mode at all. And if you know that you can't make it the entire first stage on fuel, then I love this strategy. Why not go all out here, knowing you got to make that pit stop? Unless there is some way to make it 25 laps. If there's a way to make it 25 laps, we know we're going to have a couple of caution laps after the stage yellow waves, which will make stage 2 to lap 50 even shorter. So if they can make it in this first stage on fuel, they will definitely be able to make it on fuel with saving to the conclusion of stage 2. It's going to be 5 laps to go next time by. You're asking about, what, roughly about 12 miles of fuel? 12 to 13 miles of fuel right there? Oh no, you're asking for a lot more than that, actually. About 13.5 to 14 laps of fuel, actually. Lap 20 completed. Matt Mettler out in front. Ryan Catalano in second. Catalano, stage points would be huge, but he really needs to kind of almost treat this as a must-win race as well. The reason being, look who's right behind him, Christian Roos. Look who's only 3 cars back, Jeffrey Kleinsma. So while he would, in second place, rake in some very valuable stage points, other drivers around him in the standings also would be finishing in close proximity, as now we're starting to get really racy. We're 3 wide for second, as Kleinsma and McQuaid feel that it's time to go. Little spurts here out of these drivers. Couple laps of hard fuel saving, and then immediately turning up the wick, getting into the gas and moving their way forward. I wonder if that's drivers having the confidence now, feeling they are just on the number to be able to get to the conclusion of this stage. Also bear in mind though, you have to make sure you are more than to the good at the conclusion of the stage. You're going to have enough fuel to be able to make it back around when pit road is open. You cannot afford to run out of fuel under the pacing laps once the stage yellow's been displayed. So something else that drivers have to take into account. Got About 9 drivers up in this pack right now, and here come the Toyotas up on the top side. Dobbs, Jackson, and Brock Whitehead. They're trying to get that 20 up here past the 14. That could be the exchange for the 4th position in the championship standings. And right now they are side by side for the 6th position. Patrick McQuaid side by side with Matt Mettler for the race lead, and he's going to get a shove from that Toyota brigade on the top line. Dobbs thinking maybe about 3 wide. Look at how close he is to that back bumper. He's still, I think, pushing McQuaid through the corner on that right rear quarter panel. That's the way to do it, to avoid turning the car in front of you. As Mettler gets a little loose on the inside of the tri-oval, and we're at 2 to go. Ooh, they're a little loose there. We got one down on the apron, Matt Davies, and oh, he's hit something. Lot of left front damage on that Toyota Camry. There is no caution, however. Not sure what he got into. We'll have to check back and look at that, though, as we are drawing towards the end of this stage. I don't know. I'm trying to look and see if there's any skid marks leading down towards the runoff of the apron anywhere around the racetrack, or any smoke lingering. I haven't seen anything as of yet. But Matt Davies trying to limp that machine back around to pit road. It looks like that car is still under power, albeit slowly decreasing in speed, as Noah Jackson, with the help from Alan Dobbs, out in front. A stage win would be huge for him. It would move him in the live points up into the top 4 in the championship standings. There's Davies still on the apron, coming out of 3 and 4, as here we come through the tri-oval. Green and white checkered flag is in the air. And Noah Jackson, a valuable stage victory for him here at the conclusion of stage 1 at Talladega. 10 valuable points going to be headed his way as he gets an assist from his Whitehead Racing teammates. And this would right now put him above the cut line into the championship 4 after he started this race 1 point below the cut line. Christian Ruse is going to finish in 6th. Jeffrey Kleinsma in 5th. Catalano in 4th. And Tom Bourne will get the free pass. First car 1 lap down, but 0 stage points for him at the conclusion of this one. We'll check back on pit stops here in just a moment, but first we've got to go back and see if we can find out what happened to the 32 of Matt Davies. He has made his way to pit road. He has taken on his faster pair, so he will continue, but why did he need the faster pair is the question, and looks like this may have happened off of turn 4. He was working with Peyton Holland and Trey Whitehead. And right there, looks like Holland's going to get him in the left rear quarter panel, and that is heavy impact into that inside wall just at the entry of pit road. I believe there's an individual down there that controls the caution light, and he probably had to take cover. Massive hit for Davies, but it was far enough down off the racing surface that apparently it did not bring out a yellow. Take a listen to this impact as we ride on board with Davies in that Chewy Toyota. completely broke the suspension in the left front. That left front tire was facing inward. And he drove that machine all the way back around to his pit stall. Cost him 3 laps to do so. But he has returned to the racetrack with a brand new race car via the fast repair. And he will have to rely on future cautions to be able to get himself back on the lead lap. We know we've got one guaranteed yellow that'll be coming up here at the end of lap 50, but outside of that, who knows? Peyton Holland overshooting his stall there. Had that number 1 pit stall as the battle off of pit road is going to be close between Dobbs and Mettler. Extended stay on pit road for Noah Jackson in the 20 and Trey Whitehead in the 23. We'll have to check and see maybe possible speeding penalties for both of those drivers. Jackson now down and away. Whitehead still sitting there. It looks like Jackson... I'm not sure. It almost looks like both those drivers got hit for speeding. And they will subsequently have to start at the tail end of the field. Tom Bourne, as we mentioned, going to get the free pass. So right now, doing the calculations of the points here, it looks like Noah Jackson would have leapfrogged both Christian Roos and Tom Bourne, moving him up to 3rd in the standings right now. And again, just trying to do some rough math here, it looks like Bourne would have the final spot, 4th in the standings, by 1 point over Christian Roos. So it is that close after 1 stage of racing so far here from Talladega. And now with Bourne, Roos, and Jackson, with Roos and Jackson getting stage points, and I believe Peyton Holland did not. Peyton Holland is officially now in must-win territory. Ryan Catalano, I don't believe he was able to accumulate enough points to make a difference as of yet. He is still, I think, borderline must-win, and same for Jeffrey Kleinsma. So we saw most everybody be able to make it on fuel for that 25-lap run. Saw a couple of drivers hit pit road there. Brandon Kelly just prior to when we went green. Tom Bourne during that green flag run and subsequently lost a lap because of it. We're going to be going back green here with a little over 20 laps to go. If they could make it 25 laps on fuel from the drop of the green flag, they will certainly be able to make it to the conclusion of stage 2 on what they have in the tank. So we might not see quite as much saving on this run as we did on the previous run. And can we see Noah Jackson work his way from the back up here to the front, trying to go for the Talladega stage sweep? Or can Christian Roos or Tom Bourne answer back? Right now, Jackson would find himself 4 points ahead of Christian Roos, 3 points ahead of Tom Bourne, who sits right now, according to live points, in that critical 4th position in the championship standings. Trey Whitehead did not get any stage points in that first stage. So officially, not yet locked into the championship 4, though situation is looking quite favorable for him regardless of if he gets stage points or not. And already the gamesmanship begins as Brock Whitehead going to pull down to the inside below that yellow line. You cannot advance your position when down below the yellow line, but you can give up spots. A number of drivers utilize that strategy to safely get to the rear of the field without causing obstruction of the drivers around them. Easier to pass a car when it's in a straight line rather than passing them through a corner. Plus the fact you're kind of taking your life into your own hands if you decide to run the apron in the corners at over 180, nearly 190 miles per hour. And now Alan Dobbs will bail out of the race lead, and he'll turn the top spot over to the 15 of Jeff Kleinsma. Peyton Holland now dropping to the back as well. Looks to me like Peyton Holland is treating this race as must win. Wasn't able to cash in on stage points at the end of stage 1. So that says to me that he's thinking victory lane is his only opportunity of getting into the championship 4. Meanwhile, Kleinsman and Catalano look like they still think stage points could be a path forward. Trey Whitehead now out in front. Remember, Trey ended up winning the last super speedway race that we had. It wasn't a necessarily traditional super speedway, as Daytona and Talladega, 2.5 miles or larger. Atlanta super speedway, the more confined 1.5 mile super speedway, but nonetheless, Trey Whitehead went to victory lane there. That locked him into this round of 8 back in the round of 12. It's a week of super speedway racing here for the Flatout Racing Network, as tomorrow night, in coopetition with Tarnation TV, we'll be bringing you the 6th race of Season 66 for the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. 4 races to go in the regular season. Last week, we saw our first repeat winner of the season in Chuck McClure. 4 drivers have gone to victory lane and locked themselves up spots in the postseason, and we continue that saga tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Flatout Racing Network and on Tarnation TV. We keep the super speedway racing going, as Saturday night will be the inaugural races of the brand new season of the Shake and Bake series for Talladega Nights, races 1 and 2. And then Sunday night, we continue our coverage of the All-Star Racing Super Speedway Series, Aero 88 cars under the lights at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saw Rodney Sullins pick up his 4th win on the season this past Sunday night. And we'll be back with you this coming Sunday night for action at ASR. Well, Trey Whitehead, back in the first stage, just kind of rode at the back. Now I think, with realizing that the 15, the 14, 20 all got stage points, he realizes now he kind of has to pad his cushion here to officially lock himself in. If he finishes in the top 3 here in this stage, I believe that would be enough points to lock him into the championship 4. We were talking back during the first round and the round of 12 about having to have roughly about the mid-50s above the cut line to be able to be safe. That was with fields of 20-plus drivers. With only 14 drivers in the field here tonight, that cushion number does decrease. And I would say that if you can accumulate roughly about, we'll be generous, we'll say about maybe half of what that buffer would have been with 20-plus drivers. If you can have roughly about 27, 28 points between you and the cut line, I think you're good to go. So a top 5 here in this stage for Trey Whitehead should be enough to advance him as the second Whitehead Racing Toyota in the championship for next week. Should be an exciting one next week at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Great mile-and-a-half racetrack. Gonna be under the lights. And we have gotten confirmation that whoever those Championship 4 drivers are going to be at the conclusion of this race, no stage points, no playoff points carry over into that final round. Everybody will be knotted at the same amount of points, and it will be the driver that finishes the best of those Championship 4 that ends up taking the championship. As the Toyotas all charge their way up to the front and leapfrog Trey Whitehead, Ryan Catalano leading that trio with Alan Dobbs and Noah Jackson. You know, you think about it too, it's 5 Toyotas against 3 Chevrolets in terms of the drivers that remained in our round of 8. Currently have 2 that look like they're in good shape to advance for the Toyota camp. Would there be some co-opetition here with the Whitehead Racing cars if they can get Noah Jackson safely enough up into a transfer position that they then would work with a Peyton Holland or a Ryan Catalano to have Camrys sweep the championship 4 positions? And maybe shut the Camaros out of competing for the title. Speaking of Peyton Holland, I'm not sure exactly what has happened, but McQuaid, Holland, and Mettler have fallen a long, long ways back. They are over 4 seconds behind the lead group. This could be strategy. And again, as we said, it seems like Peyton Holland is completely on board with the strategy of treating this as a must-win race. So maybe the thought process for him is, if something happens up here, I don't want to use my faster pair now. I'd rather wait till later on in this race. If something happens late, then I've still got my faster pair available to remain competitive and still have a shot of winning. How about a couple of drivers on that outside line that caution benefited? Tom Bourne was the beneficiary of getting the lucky dog, getting back his lap. Currently battling with Jeffrey Kleinsma for 6th. Just behind him is Brandon Kelly. Well, Kelly's a lap down. You're thinking, well, how did that caution benefit him? With it putting Tom Bourne back on the lead lap, Brandon Kelly is now the only driver 1 lap down. We have a guaranteed yellow coming up here in the next 10 laps. Kelly would be in the lucky dog spot, and he would get back on the lead lap as well. Brock Whitehead now out in front, looking for his 2nd win on the season. Nearly was able to close the thing out at Las Vegas last week before he got hit by the commentator's curse. The yellow flag came out with 10 laps to go. was not able to have his 4 tires reel in and bypass the 2-tire strategy of Dalton McKenney. He won earlier on this season, though, during the playoffs at Bristol. I would love to have a multi-win season here in 2025. Well, it is absolutely manufacturer versus manufacturer. All the Toyotas are lined up on the bottom. All the Chevy drivers up in the outside line with Jeff Kleinsma, Tom Bourne, Christian Roos. Bourne and Roos, they need to get up there ahead of the 20 of Noah Jackson, because right now they are behind him in the live points. Jackson would be sitting 3rd, Bourne 4th, and Roos just below the cut line by 1 point. Unless if you're Bourne, maybe you're trying to play some defense against the 14, gain some points on him, and then just pray that one of the must-win drivers don't find victory lane, because let's also put this scenario in perspective. Let's say that Ryan Catalano or Jeffrey Kleinsma or Peyton Holland, who were well and truly below the cut line in either must-win or borderline must-win scenarios, if they win, that moves the cut line up, and then guess what? The battle of 1 point between Bourne and Roos is null and void. Both drivers would then find themselves out of the championship 4. Oh, close 3 wide there. As Tom Bourne tried to shoot up the middle of Brock Whitehead and Jeffrey Kleinsma, and he gets put in what we call the proverbial sucker hole, where drivers side draft him on both the outside and inside line, and he gets transferred towards the back of this pack. What was a bid for the race lead now finds him back in the 9th position. Dead heat at the line there for that lap led between Brock Whitehead and Jeff Kleinsma. 5 laps to go in the stage. Seen them a lot more racier here than they were back in stage 1. Shave off about 4 to 5 laps that they didn't have to save here in stage 2. Keep an eye back there, that 4th car on the inside line of Noah Jackson. They managed to get him up to the stage victory at the end of stage 1. Do they feel that's enough of a cushion for him to transfer? Or do they try and orchestrate something to get him up to the front again at the conclusion of the 2nd stage? Chevrolets on the outside line have the better momentum. Kleinsma is clear, and he will jump to the bottom in front of the 71 of Brock Whitehead. This could be some very valuable stage points for Kleinsma if he is able to hold on, but he slipped up off the bottom, and now we got a pass here to the inside. Now Brock Whitehead and Ryan Catalano both went down below that double yellow line. Not sure if that would be deemed they were forced or not. It looks like Brock Whitehead has bailed out of that just in case it would have been an illegal move. Catalano, however, kept his foot in the throttle, and he is still up here battling. I'm pretty sure he went down below the yellow line as well on the back straightaway. He did not advance his position, though. We noticed that he's actually not bypassed the 15. He actually gave up a little bit of ground to the 14 on the outside line, so I'm not sure if that's enough to be deemed that you didn't advance your position or not, but testing the boundaries on the back straightaway that last time by as it's 2.5 laps to go, and look at the movement that is going on in this lead group. With so few cars, you'd hate to see a big wreck here and cars get torn up, having to take that mulligan for the second half of this race already. But this just shows the importance of those stage points. You are willing to push, you are willing to shove, you are willing to pinch for every spot. Trey Whitehead moving up to that third line, giving the Chevrolet something to think about. Look at that shove from Dobbs to Catalano. Got him a little squirrely through the tri-oval, coming down to the stripe. Most everybody's up on that outside line, including a couple of the Toyotas. Here comes Trey Whitehead to the outside, 3 wide. That's going to break those Chevrolets up a little bit. That might benefit the bottom. Here comes Catalano with a run. Tom Bourne going to jump up there with Trey Whitehead. Can they maybe tandem together, a Toyota and a Chevrolet? Doesn't look like they're making up very much ground. Matt Davies is coming to pit road. Apparently he couldn't make it on fuel. Catalano free and clear, at least for the moment, of both lanes. One more lap to play some defense. He would love 10 valuable stage points here, as he came into this race 15 points below the cut line. Just keeping it hooked right down there on the bottom. Here come the Chevys on the top. It's going to be Catalano, Kleinsma, side by side, door to door, wheel to wheel into 3. But the Toyotas get the better run on the inside through 3 and 4. Here comes Catalano. Oh, Dobbs up the racetrack. Contact made. Kleinsma's around. He saves it. And Catalano is going to pick up the stage victory. Noah Jackson will finish behind him in second. So for Catalano, those are huge, huge points that he just gained right there. The problem is, Jackson finished second, Ruse finished 5th, and Bourne finished, I believe, in 7th. Those drivers all, according to live points, were ahead of him, so any ground he would have made up with that stage victory would be slim. And I believe he is now still in must-win territory. It's a step in the right direction, but I'm not certain that, well, maybe even if Bourne or Ruse finished dead last, I'm not sure where Catalano would have to finish in order to leapfrog either one of them. He was 14 points behind, or no, sorry, 15 points behind Christian Ruse and 21 points behind Tom Bourne coming into tonight. And I believe Trey Whitehead crossed the line in 3rd. Those 8 stage points should be enough to lock him into the championship 4. So doing a little quick math here, of how many stage points different drivers would have gotten there, specifically the 16, the 14, and the 20. So Noah Jackson, a total of 19 stage points here tonight, 11 for Christian Ruse and 4 for Tom Bourne. If we look at the point standings coming into tonight, Noah Jackson would sit at 5,100 points. Christian Ruse would currently sit, I believe, at 5,103. No, I don't think I did that right. Nope, I didn't. There we go. So Jackson would be at 5,110. Ruse would be at 5,103. And Tom Bourne right now would be at 5,101. Drivers on pit road here. So right now, live scoring would have Jackson in the 3rd spot, Ruse in the 4th final transfer position, with Bourne sitting 2 points below the cut line. Oh boy. Things were tight before the race began around that cut line. They were tight after the conclusion of the first stage, and they are going to continue to remain tight the entirety of this race. Bourne is going to need 2 positions. Correction, he's going to need 3 positions on Christian Ruse to knock him out of the Final Four. And again, this is all assuming that we don't see Ryan Catalano, Jeffrey Kleinsma, or Peyton Holland go to victory lane. Now it appears that Matt Davies, saw him come to pit road just prior to that caution coming out. Looks like he's going to be able to take the wave around here. He will be, I believe, 2 laps down. He managed to not lose a lap on his green flag pit stop. So he'll go from 3 to -2. Brandon Kelly got the free pass under this caution. So 13 of our 14 drivers will be back on the lead lap. All 14 drivers are still running. Only 1 driver has had to use their mulligan faster pair as well, that being Davies, after he had that pretty heavy impact towards the conclusion of stage 1. So we've seen most of the drivers tonight be able to make it, both the first and the second stage, on what they had in the tank. Guarantee you they cannot make it the entirety of this 3rd and final stage on what fuel they currently have on board. They will have to come to pit road at some point. So my assumption is that we're looking roughly about maybe 25 to 30 laps that they can go on a full tank of gas. When do you make that final pit stop then? We're going to be going back green with the lights out at 46 to go. Do you split it 23-23 right down the middle? Do you try and maybe go 25 laps like you did in stage 1, save enough to then when you come down pit road, you only have to take on, what would that be, about 20 laps of fuel? I don't know. We're going to have to see what the pace looks like here when the green flag drops. Do we go all out? Or do we reserve a little bit? Alan Dobbs, who's already free and clear. He said that was the goal. After he advanced into the round of 8, he said, we want to make sure we win our way into the championship before we get to Talladega. It's too much of a wild card race. He managed to do that in the first race of the round of 8 at Phoenix. Noah Jackson came into tonight below the cut line. He currently now finds himself 7 points to the good. Ryan Catalano still looking like he is borderline in a must-win situation. It really all depends on what happens with Ruse and Bourne and where Catalano finishes. He's been able to get some pretty good stage points here, including the stage victory in Stage 2. And then Christian Ruse, right now, is the cut line driver, 4th in the standings, only 2 to the good over Tom Bourne. Green flag in the air, 46 laps to determine it. And Christian Ruse letting us know in the chat, 24 to 26 laps, 27 if you max fuel save. So they should be able to split this right in half. We may see some drivers come to pit road somewhere around that lap 77 to 79 mark. Doesn't look like any saving going on right now. It's Alan Dobbs going to bring them around here to the start-finish line at speed. Fastest lap of the race right now would have been set by Ryan Catalano, 49.119. I believe that the driver that turns the fastest lap gets a bonus point here as well. Maybe that's why we saw a number of drivers kind of bail out and go to the back in the early going into this race as well, trying to get that bonus point. We saw Trey Whitehead, Peyton Holland, Ryan Catalano all do that. They might have been trying to get that toe in the early going to establish fastest lap of the race for that extra bonus point. So far, only 2 cautions here this evening. No cautions for cause. They both were the stage yellows as we start closing in on 40 laps to go this evening at Talladega Superspeedway. We say we take the opportunity with these drivers humming along on the high banks of this 2.66 mile mega speedway. We say we crank it up. Brock Whitehead, Patrick McQuaid, couple of non-playoff drivers with nothing to lose up on that outside line. Whitehead looking for his second win of the season. Patrick McQuaid looking for his first. Was so consistent during the regular season, pointed his way easily into the playoffs, but then when the playoffs began, it was like all of a sudden the momentum flipped a switch, and McQuaid really struggled, was eliminated in the first round, and trying to get back to those consistent ways to close out the 2025 season. Brock Whitehead clear on that top line. Let's see if now that he's clear of fellow Toyota Alan Dobbs, if he moves down. No, he will stay up there on that outside line with McQuaid. Meanwhile, the similarly schemed Red Line Racing Toyota Camrys of Dobbs and Jackson on the inside line. Saw Alan Dobbs push Noah Jackson to the win in the first stage. Some valuable points that currently now have him on the plus side. Currently third in the live standings. Take a look here from the back of Dobbs. That shows just how violent the pushes are. Look at how the nose is kind of caved in right around the Camry text on the 20 of Noah Jackson. Splitter is somewhat bent as well. Not sure really how much the driver feels of something like that, but there is definitely some visible damage, and it's shots like that that are leading to it. Patrick McQuaid now gonna shift from the top to the bottom, as he'll try and see if he can move his way to the race lead. That'll put Jeffrey Kleinsman now up behind the 71 of Brock Whitehead. And I mentioned about the fact that Tom Bourne getting the free pass under the first stage yellow helped Brandon Kelly to be in line for the future lucky dog under the second caution for the conclusion of stage 2. There is that number 12 of Kelly now in the lead lap, and currently battling for the 6th position with Ryan Catalano. Right now, all 14 drivers are up in this lead pack. Only driver a lap down is Matt Davies, -2. Running just behind Peyton Holland in the 19. When do we see Peyton Holland work his way up to the front? Again, must-win situation. He hasn't cashed in on stage points. He's rode at the back of the pack all night long. When does he feel it's time to go? We've still got pit stops coming up, so maybe a little too early in his mind. But we'll keep an eye out for that number 19. See just how soon do we see him start making his way forward, because then I think we've gotten the idea that he feels it is go time. And of course, with it being a smaller field here as well, there's not as much panic, not as much of a sense of urgency to have to work your way forward. Not nearly as many cars to have to pass as you would if you had a 30, 40 car field. So you can kind of take your time with strategy. Speaking of strategy, Patrick McQuaid moved down in front of Alan Dobbs, and that inside line went nowhere. Which says to me that some of these drivers, I think, while it may not necessarily look it, I believe that a number of these drivers are back in fuel save mode again. Not by much, but I think they are just a little bit. Looking right now, some of the fastest laps these drivers put down in the early going were in the 49.1s to 49.4s. We're running 50 flats to 50.7s. That is definite backing down of the pace. That is definite fuel save. Matt Mettler has now worked his way up to what was second, but now Brock Whitehead looks like he's going to yield the race lead to Mettler. And Mettler will go to the point. Second time he's had his Toyota out in front this evening. Chris Hupka will now move right behind him in second, and McQuaid, who looked like was kind of stalling out that inside line earlier, now finds himself up in P3. About 12 to 15 laps away, roughly, from when I'm assuming we would see most drivers hit pit road. Now remember, too, we ended up seeing Tom Bourne get hit with a black flag for speeding under a green flag pit stop in stage 1. We saw both Noah Jackson and Trey Whitehead get hit for speeding, and that was when they came down pit road under caution. This is not the most difficult pit road to get onto in terms of access, though granted you need to kind of be an air marshal in making sure that everybody knows where everybody else is going to be, what everybody's braking areas are, if you're coming down pit road with a big pack. But the biggest problem that drivers have are getting these cars wound down to 55 miles per hour by time they get to the commitment line. Just one slight overstep, and guess what? Your race is pretty much over unless you get bailed out with a lucky yellow. This racetrack is too big. It relies too much on having a drafting partner to give up a chunk of track position on an errant pit stop. Here comes Tom Bourne now to the outside of Chris Hupka. Christian Ruse there with him. Looks like Tom Bourne might be similarly on the strategy he was back in stage 1. Where he's kind of going hard here and then he'll come to pit road. Now, when he made his pit stop in stage 1, he did it all by himself. There was nobody else with him. And granted, the speeding penalty didn't help, but there is every possibility with the number of laps we had left in that stage that running by his lonesome, Tom Bourne may have found himself a lap down at the conclusion of that stage. Now granted, most of the field was saving fuel, so they weren't running at full pace, so not guaranteed he would have gone a lap down, but it would have been close. Now, if you're Tom Bourne, if you're going to make that final pit stop, you're going to want to make sure you do it with friends. And there's a lot of Chevrolets up here. Matter of fact, the bow ties currently hold the entire top 5. So you got to think they've realized the battle lines have been drawn. It's Toyota versus Chevy in this race. And if the Chevys are going to put one of their manufactured cars in victory lane, they're going to all have to come to pit road together, because you know that more than likely all the Toyota drivers are going to come together as well. The question is going to be, though, will it be on separate laps or will it be on the same lap? For those that might be wondering about the live points, Tom Bourne would currently be in the championship four with where he's running out in front. Christian Ruse would be the first driver on the outside looking in. Wouldn't be by much. Ruse would, I believe, be a total of 4 points below the cut line. The cut line driver would currently be Noah Jackson, with the 16 being out in front. If Bourne loses the lead, then Jackson would immediately jump back up into the 3rd slot. Again, as well, trying to do this rough math as drivers currently run. I usually give this disclaimer: do not take my math as gospel. I am not the best mathematician in the world. I'm not even the... I don't even know what word to use. I'm not even the most competent mathematician in the world. Math is not my strong suit. Let's just say that. I have been told that at the conclusion of this race, we will have the actual mathematicians getting to work on calculating it all up, and we will have an official word for you before this broadcast concludes of who your championship 4 are. We pretty much have an idea of half of the field. Dobbs locked in with a victory. Trey Whitehead with some valuable stage points in stage 2 has locked himself in on points. Now it's a matter of who the other 2 drivers are going to be. Right now, the front runners, Jackson, Ruse, and Bourne. But again, we cannot count out a potential victory from Kleinsma, Holland, or Catalano. That would move them up into the championship 4 and move the cut line down a position. I'd say about 6 laps away from when these drivers come to pit road here. It's going to probably want to come to pit road somewhere in the vicinity of 23, 24 to go to make absolutely certain that you can make it the rest of the way. And look at how much drivers have backed off here. Bourne about 3-4 car lengths back to Hubka, another 3 car lengths back to Kelly. And that's when they're bumper to bumper with Quaid and Ruse, along with Brock Whitehead leading the Toyota brigade. Bourne does not appear to be saving, as he continues to open up the gap back to Hubka. Hubka falling back to Brandon Kelly. And this potentially might force the 16 to have to come to pit road sooner than the rest of the other Chevrolets. Double wide further back there. It's Trey Whitehead making something happen on the outside line, along with Peyton Holland. Look at this. Look at the difference. This is the drivers that aren't saving right now versus the drivers that are. Look at the speed difference as he pulls down, gets that side draft off of Hubka. And it looks like now the Toyotas are on the charge. Noah Jackson kind of got boxed in back there. He wasn't able to move with the other Toyotas. And with all these Camrys now moving forward, they want the track position, but this says to me they're not that far out from when they're pitting as well. If they are in full go mode right now, they're going to be pitting in the next 2 to 3 laps, one would have to assume. Matt Mettler, he was moving up there with the Toyotas. Now he fans all the way to the outside through the tri-oval, and he's going to fade to the back once again. Like he went up there by choice, so I'm not sure why he moved forward with the other Camrys and then decided to give the track position back up. Unless maybe his numbers are not quite the same as the other Toyotas. Jackson trying to get to the outside there of Brandon Kelly. Trying to see if he can get up there and hook up with his Toyota teammates, but kind of boxed out there by the Chevrolets. Oh, near contact off of 4 between himself and the 12. I think if you're Jackson, you cut your losses, you have to just ride and then come to pit road when the rest of the other Toyotas do. So again, just based off my rough math, I believe you're going to see drivers pitting, if not this lap, next time by. How many hands might be out the window here down the back straightaway? How well will they orchestrate a group of cars coming to pit road? We've seen Drivers have issues getting onto pit road, contact be made, and it may not bring out a yellow. Not this time by. We will be at 23 laps to go this next time around. We have gone roughly about 23 green flag laps on this run, so this would split it right in half the next time they exit off of turn 4. Holland in that third spot, must-win situation for driver number 19. This is going to be the money stop. This is the pit stop that's going to make or break your race if you are fighting for one of those final 2 spots in the Championship 4. Still able to go a little further here. We were told they could go about 27 on max saving. That would be maybe another lap past this, and then they absolutely would have to come to pit road. They might be trying to get to that 20 to go mark. I'm not sure if they can get that far. I feel like Tom Bourne certainly can't, with how much in the throttle, how far he was pulling away from the pack during the latter portion of this run. Here they come. And they all make it onto pit road safely. Ooh, lock up there from Dobbs. But it looks like we may have actually gotten it done. I believe everybody made it. And now it's a matter... Oh! Dobbs gonna lock it up! He's gonna spin out! And he's gonna overshoot his stall. Costly mistake for him. Very fortunate that he's already locked in. And Trey White is gonna win the battle off of pit road. Here's everyone leaving as they continue to service the 35. Well, Dobbs is already locked in to Homestead with his victory at Phoenix. A mistake like that will cost him adding another race victory to his already impressive 2025 resume, but it will not hurt him in terms of his championship eligibility. And now, with a little less than 21 laps to go, it looks like everybody was able to get onto pit road and off pit road without issue, with the exception of Brandon Kelly speeding for the 12. And it also looks like Matt Mettler may have pitted a couple of laps prior to that entire group coming down pit road. But some drivers executed well, other drivers did not. Chris Hubka has lost touch with the lead pack. And this group here of McQuaid, Ruse, and Kleinsma trying to do everything they can to catch up to the lead pack, albeit a little more than 2 seconds behind. Can 3 cars hook up together and run down a pack of 6? Right now, telemetry is showing that as a no. And who that does not benefit is Christian Ruse, because look who is in second place. Tom Bourne. Tom was only 2 points behind Ruse at the conclusion of the second stage. He now has Ruse by 6 positions. So Bourne is up into the final transfer spot in the Championship 4. The problem for Tom is, as he looks in his rearview mirror, the 19 of Peyton Holland and the 92 of Ryan Catalano are in this lead pack. If either driver wins this race, Bourne goes from 4th in the standings to out of the championship hunt. The other issue for Tom Bourne right now is he's the lone Chevrolet in a sea of Toyotas. 5 of the top 6 all Camrys. though granted, only 3 of them are teammates out of Whitehead Racing. Trey Whitehead, Brock Whitehead, and Noah Jackson. But would they be willing to work with Peyton Holland or Ryan Catalano to lock the Chevrolets out of the championship next week? Yeah, that interval is continuing to grow for that trio, 7th through 9th. Those drivers are going to need a caution to be able to get back into this hunt. So right now, Jeffrey Kleinsma looks like he's in danger of being eliminated. Christian Ruse currently in danger of being eliminated. Holland and Catalano still have their hopes alive should they win this. Tom Bourne still alive should a driver that doesn't need to win their way into the championship takes the checkered flag. Right now, Trey and Brock Whitehead, as well as Noah Jackson, those would be drivers Tom Bourne would be fine with taking the checkered flag here, if not himself. Saw Brandon Kelly, who got that speeding penalty. He's going to go a lap down to the race leaders. And we're going to be coming around to 16 laps to go. Even for Christian Ruse, if he were leading this pack of 3, which would put him up in 7th, that would not be enough for him to have enough points to stay ahead of Tom Bourne. Bourne would have him then by 5 positions, which would equate to Bourne being up by 2 points on Christian Ruse for the final spot in the championship 4. So for Ruse, he needs Bourne to lose 2 positions. If Ruse can hang on to 8th, he would need Bourne to finish in, I believe, 6th. If he finished in 5th, then they would actually be tied. And 6th right now would be the tail end of this lead pack. Right now, that caboose is Ryan Catalano. They have picked up the lap car of Brandon Kelly as well. That could be a fellow Chevrolet for Tom Bourne to work with. Could be a proverbial X factor in the outcome of this race. They put Matt Davies another lap down, so his getting the wave around after the second caution to -2. He's given that lap back to -3. We're not in fuel save anymore. These drivers were running in the 50s back when they were saving fuel. We're now in the high 49s. We know we can make it the rest of the way on what we've got in the tank. A couple of other drivers that really would love to see a caution right now are in this group of 3. Alan Dobbs, who had that spin on pit road. Matt Mettler, who pitted a little bit earlier than everybody else and didn't have the benefit of draft on his outlap. And Chris Hubka, who had a very slow pit stop as well. 10th through 12th right now for these drivers, just trying to hang on to the tail end of the lead lap and hoping that a caution saves them. Right now, they are a little more than half a lap down to the race leaders. Well, for Trey Whitehead, he ended up getting stage points at the end of stage 2. He came in with a 23-point advantage over the cut line. Those stage points locked him into the championship 4 on points. But think about this for Trey in terms of momentum. If you're able to go into Homestead having taken the last checkered flag the week prior, that can be a tremendous amount of momentum that you carry into that weekend, and it could help you be able to double down, win back-to-back to close out the season, and take the Grind Cup Series Championship. Trey's been very reserved here in this race. We didn't really see him at all in the first stage. He made a late charge for stage point at the end of stage 2, and even here in stage 3, prior to the pit stops, he kind of hung out in the mid-pack area before eventually feeling it was time to go, time to gain the track position before the pit stops, and now finds himself cycled out to the point. Been a good clean race here tonight, which can be a great thing if you're a driver. It can be a frustrating thing if you're a driver, because if you execute on the racetrack and on pit road, you love the fact that it's green flag racing. But if you have those mistakes that cost you track position, you are begging, you are clamoring that the next time you come around out of the trial and look up at that flag stand, you're going to see a yellow flag in his hand to be able to get you back that track position that you lost. Starting to get a little racy. That's Ryan Catalano up on the top side, and he's got Brandon Kelly in the 12, the lap machine behind him. We've also got Matt Davies in this group, so 2 lap machines there in Kelly and Davies that somebody could recruit to help push them to the front. No momentum as of yet there for Catalano. Got up as high as 4th position and now starting to fade back once again. He was the tail end car though, so I don't blame him for trying to do something, seeing if anybody else will jump up to that second lane with him. Noah Jackson right now in good shape to advance his way in on points. Yes, the 16 is running ahead of him, but after stage 2, Noah Jackson was up by 9 points on Tom Bourne. If Jackson finishes last in this lead pack, the worst he would finish is 6th. Even with a victory, I don't believe that Tom would be able to leapfrog him. Well, actually, they get 5 points for the win, so actually, no, Tom would be able to leapfrog him by 1 point. So if I'm Noah Jackson, my goal is to finish in the top 5. Eliminate that scenario. Now, granted, if Tom wins regardless, he would leapfrog Noah Jackson via the victory. But Jackson would then be able to still maintain his gap back to Christian Ruse. Regardless, though, I think if you're Jackson, you're still eyeing a top 5 finish. What kind of communication is going on right now? Are Peyton Holland or Ryan Catalano able to recruit some help from these Toyotas in this pack? The only way that Holland and Catalano can make it into the Final Four is through winning. Too many stage points have been accumulated by the 16 and the 20. And those 2 must-win drivers are about to find themselves side by side for 3rd place, as Catalano trying to pull down on that right rear quarter panel of Peyton Holland, draw him back. Not gonna work. Holland's gonna get clear for 3rd once again, and all that energy for Catalano on that outside line is gone. It is a 6-horse race at the front of the field. Every driver has their assignments. Trey Whitehead's already locked in on points. Tom Bourne could lock himself in on points, but he wants to win. Peyton Holland needs to win. Brock Whitehead, he could be a disturbance in the force. He could help push somebody to a victory, but he'd love to pick up his 2nd win on the season himself. maybe get a little redemption from that untimely caution last week at Vegas. Ryan Catalano in a must-win situation, and Noah Jackson, I would say his goal top 5, which right now he's in that 5th position. Everybody else, they are hoping for a caution to get back into this hunt. Christian Ruse right now in 7th place. He would need Tom Bourne to drop back to at least 5th position to be able to narrowly get Tom by 1 point. And that's again, provided that the 19 or the 92 don't win. If you're Bourne, do you just ride in line behind the 23? I mean, you can't let the 19 win. You can't let the 92 win. You can't give up positions either. Do you risk it trying to go for the victory? Remember, Tom Bourne took the checkered flag back at Dover. The win, however, did not count towards a spot in the playoffs. He made it into the playoffs, winning the All-Star race under the lights at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So he is yet to score a victory that actually counted as a victory in a points-paying race. Tonight could be the night. But you got a big picture race as well. Here we go. Second line forming. It's Noah Jackson leading the charge. Peyton Holland's going to move up there as well as they are shoving in that outside line. And Catalano's going to bail. Here comes Tom Bourne. And Holland crosses to the inside. Peyton Holland must-win situation, making must-win moves. He'll go to 2nd. Now he's in a Whitehead sandwich. Trey in front of him, Brock behind him. If Peyton makes a move, it'd be unlikely, I think, that Brock would leave his brother, though Ryan Catalano's in that 4th position, taking some peeks there, trying to see if he makes a move, if the 71 will go with him. Tom Bourne's dropped back to the only Chevrolet teammate that he would have here in this group, that being Kelly. As we are coming down to 3 laps to go. These could be the most crucial 3 laps of Peyton Holland's life, as he looks to win his way from the 8th seed coming into tonight, 21 points below the cut line, to locking himself into the championship battle next week at Homestead. 1 car to beat in front of him in the form of Trey Whitehead. Up the track a little bit there. Might be gauging the waters behind him, seeing if anybody else's noses started peeking out from behind the right rear quarter panels of the cars in front of them. Didn't look like any takers that time off of turn 4. 2 more laps, a little over 5 miles. Dobbs is in. Trey Whitehead is in. Who are the other 2 drivers going to be? If we get around here to the white flag, race will be official and we'll race back to the checkers. We will avoid going into overtime. Holland again. Little up the track, trying to see if anybody will go. Nobody bites. Push from Brock Whitehead, though, on that outside line. Here we go. White flag will be displayed. 1 lap to go. Peyton Holland to the lead. With help from Brock Whitehead. To the bottom he goes. Here comes a push from Ryan Catalano. It's a knot of Toyotas on the inside line. Catalano in a must-win, trying to find some way to the front. Brock Whitehead pushed Peyton Holland, to the front. Is he willing to push him to the win? Here we come through the tri-oval. Does Brock make a move? He stays committed. Peyton Holland is going to go from the 8th seed coming into this elimination race. He will win his way into the Final Four. And with that victory, Toyotas will sweep the championship 4 positions. Dobbs, Trey Whitehead, Noah Jackson, and Peyton Holland, I believe, are your championship 4 going into Homestead, Miami next week. Ryan Catalano is going to come up just short. He's going to finish in 3rd. He was getting some help at the end by Noah Jackson, but they just couldn't get up there to the duo of Holland and Whitehead. First win of 2025 in the Grind Cup Series for Peyton Holland, and what a victory it is. In order to win the championship, you've got to be in the hunt. First step towards that here tonight for the driver, the number 19. As for the first time this season, he will burn it down at Talladega Superspeedway. Becomes only the 2nd Toyota to win a Superspeedway race this season if you count Trey Whitehead's win at Atlanta Superspeedway. Chevrolets and Fords had won at the previous Superspeedway races. And this may be a very lengthy celebration for Peyton Holland. Again, unofficially, the final 4 competitors: Alan Dobbs, Trey Whitehead, Noah Jackson, and Peyton Holland. The only 3 that I believe we can confirm are Dobbs and Holland with their victories, Trey Whitehead on points. We will wait for the official word on who the 4th and final driver is, but I believe that with Jackson cashing in on the stage points, he was ahead of Christian Roos and Tom Bourne after stage 2, and he finishes ahead of both of them here at the conclusion of the race. I believe he is going to be the final driver to advance into the championship 4. Good on Peyton Holland. He used every bit of that engine up. That thing is completely stalled out here below the flag stand at the start-finish line, as the celebration will continue well into tonight and the remainder of this week, as he now will set his sights on Homestead Miami Speedway and that championship battle. That's going to take us into our FRN post-race wind down, as we are now going to show you your finishing results from this evening's race. Holland with the victory. Brock Whitehead played the pivotal part into Peyton advancing into the championship 4 as he pushed him to the front and kept him at the front. He'll bring it home in 2nd. Ryan Catalano, so close to winning his way into the Final 4 himself, brings it home 3rd. Noah Jackson in 4th, and Trey Whitehead will finish in 5th. Tom Bourne, I believe, will come up just short as he finishes the last car in the lead pack in 6th. Christian Roos, Patrick McQuaid, Jeff Kleinsma never got the caution they were looking for. Roos and Kleinsma were well below the cut line with where they were scored. Alan Dobbs, the pit road mistake, he'll finish in 10th, but nonetheless had that victory, so he is still locked into the championship 4. Other drivers that had some issues on that final pit stop included Chris Hupka, Matt Mettler. Brandon Kelly finished a lap down in 13th, and Matt Davies 3 laps down in 14th. All 14 drivers did finish the race under power, 12 of them on the lead lap. Only 2 cautions here tonight. No cautions for cause. It was the 2 stage yellows between stages 1 and 2. Crazy race here this evening from Talladega. Huge championship implications. Let's see if we can dial up our podium finishers on the night. Let's kick things off with Ryan Catalano. Hey Ryan, it's Seth up here in the FRN booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, I'll tell you what, some interesting scenarios coming into this evening. You were in the borderline must-win scenario. You had a pusher there at the end. You almost had enough racetrack. Did you maybe need just that one more lap? Did maybe the move by the 1971 preempt your move?
Yeah, I was really trying to just hold back, and that's how these super speedways go. You got to pull up and just kind of wait and try to make the right move. And I think I might have just made it a little too late because I was trying to get lined up with Noah and Trey there, Whitehead, to get a kind of like a 3-car tandem and see if I could get a push the whole way up. But yeah, just not enough racetrack ran out. Yeah, fun racing. Good. I mean, we only had a few car counts, but I mean, it is what it is at this point. But yeah, overall, pretty happy with everything this season, but I think I missed the cutoff with Peyton winning, so.
You came into this race in a scenario that we call borderline must win. You were about 15 points below the cut line. It really depended on a lot of the other drivers just ahead of you of where they finished in those stages and everything. It looked like you were kind of 50-50 in both stage racing and racing for the victory. Was that to kind of cover both your bases in terms of whichever scenario might potentially play out?
Yeah, I was just I knew, being minus 15, I was trying to get as many stage points as I possibly could there. I was actually trying to see if I could grab a second there in the first stage, but, still ended up in fourth there. But, winning the second stage was helpful, and I kind of went out at the front and led a lap. And then I think I also had the fastest lap, so that was an extra point too as well. But yeah, I think just a few points short, but a good run.
Yeah, you did indeed have that fastest lap as well. Only driver to run in the 49 1-second bracket. A great run for you here tonight. I know that it's been up and down here in the playoffs, but to be able to get this far, advance into the round of 8, be in the conversation here tonight to win your way into the Final Four, what's the mindset looking ahead here to this finale at Homestead now?
Yeah, just go out there, taking the gloves off, if you want to call it that. There's no real pressure at all. We're just going to go out there and race as hard as I can and, see if I can, maybe snag a win and, be a spoiler is kind of my play.
Well, Peyton, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight. I know you wanted those couple spots more to advance into the Final Four, but some good momentum here tonight leading into that finale next week at Homestead. Before I let you go, floor is yours for thank you sponsors and shoutouts.
Yeah, I want to thank, Seth and you guys up there for, broadcasting. This is a, a long season. It's been crazy. I think we've been doing this since back, January, February this year. This is a long growing season. So, I want to thank all the guys that have been, in here and racing respectful. Last week's situation, don't need to get into that. But yeah, that was just completely taken by surprise by me. And I just can't believe we have people in here doing that. But yeah, definitely want to thank Hubkin, all those guys. And then, I also do want to always give a shout out to my, my own personal hot sauce company that I make. So I'm sure you guys said it on the broadcast, but yeah, it's fun to, go out here each week and, make a unique paint job. I actually take a lot of pride in. It's actually kind of fun to kind of make the paint jobs for each week. But yeah, it's been a great season. Kind of achieved where I wanted to be. I mean, my original goal was just to get into the playoffs, and I think I surpassed that pretty well. And that was the goal. So pretty happy with everything. Is not able to go for the championship, but got right where I wanted to be. And yeah, overall just good drive today.
Well, definitely
Appreciate
exceeded
it,
that goal and almost exceeded even more with advancing into the Final Four. Congratulations, though, being up there in the conversation all night long, bringing it home solidly on the podium here tonight at the High Banks of Talladega.
Yep, appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
That's Ryan Catalano. We'll be seeing him trying to run for the checkered flag next week in the finale at Homestead. Let's see if we can now get a hold of a guy who played a huge part into who the final four drivers are going to be. Brings home second place tonight. Let's get a hold of Brock Whitehead. Hey, Brock, it's Seth up here in the FRM booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, I'll tell you what, second straight week that you are very much in the conversation of the race ending, my friend. You were in that battle with Dalton McKenney trying to run him down on four tires last week at Vegas. Tonight, you are the pusher that gets Peyton Holland into the final four. I was kind of looking at all the different scenarios here, and I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall of all the pit boxes, heard the communication, how much communication was going on here at the end of the race, and how much of it translated even at the beginning of the race. How much strategy was actually being relayed between drivers of those specifically that were trying to win their way into this final four?
Yeah, so really it was just between our team for those first 80 laps, I would say. I mean, from the start, we were having to save gas. And at the end of the stage, Chris, which is the guy that he spots for anybody on our team and does a bunch of the fuel strategies, he let us know we didn't have to save any gas at the end of the stage. Starting stage 2, and then just starting stage 2, we didn't really have to save too much gas, and then we just kind of strategized when we were going to pit. The whole field ended up going in, which was nuts that nobody wrecked, besides Dobbs getting turned on pit road. Everybody got out of pit road beautifully. And then Noah and everybody was up there, and we were really focused on getting Noah in, and we got him in, and then Catalano was making a run on the outside, and Noah said he was jumping up, and then Peyton jumped up with him, and then, man, from there it was Peyton jump back down the tray, and then I'm having Chris communicate with Peyton, and yeah, I mean, there's so much strategy for the last 10 laps. I mean, it was nuts. All the talking that we were doing between having Chris message Peyton and just communicate everything out. Peyton's been really good to us, so it's feels good to get 3 of our teammates in, and then a guy that's been really good to us and raced us fair during the season.
Yet has Toyota sweeping the championship 4 spots going into Homestead. Obviously, we ended up seeing some fuel strategy games in those first couple of stages. You guys knew you couldn't make it the entirety of the 3rd stage on what you started out with. You knew you were going to have to make a pit stop, and more than likely it was going to be under green. You talked about the surprise of everybody coming to pit road together. How much emphasis, how much team buildup was there of, come on guys, no mistakes, we need everybody?
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to the wall. I'm the first pit stop, and then Trey said he was going to the middle, and it was just trying to stack us up to where we weren't going to run each other over. And then we got a little separated. Noah got a little bit back behind us, but caught us up on the pit road, especially with everybody pitting. So I was like, I'm going to the inside, and then everybody else just kind of spread out based on their pit box, and the communication was crazy of what we were taking. I took no tires. Trey and them took 2 on the left side, and we all came out together, which really helped.
Now, obviously, last week, unfortunate circumstances, maybe Vegas owes you one. In the conversation here tonight, you're coming off back-to-back runner-up finishes going into next week. Now, obviously, there's 4 drivers that are battling for a championship, but yourself and everybody else, that doesn't mean that you guys don't want to get that checkered flag any less. With the momentum streak you're on right now, how motivated are you going to be next week to close out 2025 with your second checkered flag of the season?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. Probably practice a lot. Homestead's not too big of a strong track for me. But Bristol wasn't either, and I won that race. So maybe I'll have some luck. And I think the luck might be going my way without Seth talking about, or not Seth, Scott, because you're Seth. Scott talking about me when I'm running up front. I knew he wasn't talking about me tonight, and because he wasn't in here, and I was running really good and didn't get wrecked. So that was nice. Thank you, Scott, for not being, in the booth. But definitely, hopefully next week at Homestead, we can do decent. And if I'm up front, just, Scott, please, if you're listening, do not mention anything about me running up there, because it'll happen.
I'll tape his mouth shut if he starts mentioning your name.
Yeah,
Brock,
if you just mute his mic.
yeah, there you go. Brock, congratulations on the great run here tonight. Some great momentum going into that finale next week. Back-to-back seconds in these last couple of weeks. Before we let you go, floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Yeah, I want to thank you for broadcasting. You were in here by yourself tonight. Hovka for putting the league on as always. We got one race left, and he's done an amazing job this season. Trey and everybody at Whitehead Racing, and then really just shout out to Dobbs, Trey, and Noah. They're all in the championship, and that's gonna be really good for our team.
Brock Whitehead brings home second place here this evening from Talladega Super Speedway. Congratulations once again, the great run here tonight, and best of luck next week as we close out the 2025 schedule.
Thank you.
Well, he's still sitting with the engine expired underneath the flag stand. I believe he's had to make his way on foot over to Victory Lane, where we're now going to dial up Peyton Holland, tonight's race winner. Hey, Peyton, it's Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do.
Well, first off, welcome to Victory Lane for the first time here in 2025, and maybe more importantly, welcome to the Championship 4. You came into tonight in the massive underdog story. You were the 8th seed, 21 points below the cut line. You knew it was a must-win scenario, and I kind of documented that for the most part in this race, you hung out at the back. You didn't really make your way forward until the closing stages of this race. Now, am I right in thinking, I know you guys had that one faster pair available, was your thought process in if I make a move here near the end of the race and I get involved in a wreck, I want that faster pair still available to still be in the hunt. I don't want to be using that mulligan too early on.
Absolutely. That I was talking to my teammate Davies. I was like, man, I'm sitting in the back. I have no stage points to gain. I can't. I'm in a must win. There's no reason for me to even try to get myself caught up in a wreck. So I was like, I'm just gonna hang in the back, just be chill. And then luckily, coming towards that last pit stop, Trey jumped out, and I was like, man, I got to make a move. So I went with him. We had a great pit stop, and it worked. I guess it worked out for me pretty good.
Obviously, let's talk about that pit stop, because in a must-win scenario, knowing more than likely that that final pit stop was going to be under green, and we had a couple of drivers make some mistakes on some pit stops back in the first two stages. How much pressure did you feel in making absolutely certain that you hit all your marks, didn't have any mistakes, to still keep yourself in the conversation?
Well, luckily, whenever Trey went out, we jumped to I think it was second and third, and I was just waiting. I had enough fuel. I had plenty of fuel to just wait for that group to go. And as soon as said it, I was like, oh, this is it. And luckily, nobody hit me from the behind, so it just everybody filed in great. I had a great pit stop, but luckily I didn't speed. Would have been awful. But luckily, having that first pit box too helped me out a lot as well. So.
After everything you were doing here tonight, whether it was the strategizing, executing on pit road, or making that final move that got you this victory, you sound relatively calm for everything that just went down here. What is the confidence level now with this momentum going into that championship battle next week at Homestead?
Well, I'm so glad it's Homestead. I love Homestead. It's probably my absolute favorite track out of any track the NASCAR runs on. So I'm just going to put a little work in. I know Dobbs is strong. I mean, Noah Jackson's strong. Trey Wyatt's strong. I mean, they've probably been better than me all year. So I'm going to have to put some work into it, try to prove everybody wrong. Maybe I can come out with the championship, but I know how unlikely that is. But I can't go into it thinking I can't.
Well, absolutely. You got to have that mentality, especially now that you are here locked into this championship battle with the victory here tonight. Peyton, congratulations on the job well done. Execution from start to finish flawless. Had yourself in the right place at the right time to pick up your first victory on the season, and what a time to do it as you get ready to hunt for that title next week at Homestead, Miami. Before we let you get back to your celebrating, the floor is yours for Victory Lane. Thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
First I want to thank Brock. Brock had a great car. He pushed me pretty dang good. God, I don't think I could have done it without him. So thank you, Brock. Thank you, Davies. Davies was helping me all race. Unfortunately, I did kind of wreck him, but we're gonna look past that one. But Thank you for Metler for giving me this beautiful Redline racing car. Thank you, everybody else, just anybody watching that's supporting me. I appreciate it all. And thank you, Seth, for putting on a great show all this whole season. Finally happy to be in the victory lane with you. So that's probably all the thanks you I got, but I'm just super thankful for everything.
Well, congratulations, Peyton, on a well-deserved victory here tonight. Best of luck in your hunt for that championship trophy next week at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Peyton Holland adds his name to the list of drivers that have found victory lane here in the 2025 season, and what a victory it is. It secures him a spot in the championship 4 alongside of 3 Whitehead Racing teammates, Alan Dobbs, Trey Whitehead, Noah Jackson. It will be guaranteed that a Toyota driver will win the Grind Cup Series championship. Just to put into perspective for people how the 19 had to win to get in, the points he accumulated here tonight, even with the victory, would have only moved him from 8th to 7th in points. But the victory gives him the golden ticket to leapfrog everybody else above the cut line and put himself into the championship hunt. It will be Dobbs, Holland, Trey Whitehead, Noah Jackson next week under the lights at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Who will take the championship? We will find out next Wednesday night. Green flag at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Want to thank Trey Whitehead for getting the points calculated here so we could give you your official championship 4 going into next week. My colleague Scott Rankin will be back from Bathurst as we get ready to cover that championship race at Homestead as we close down the 2025 season of the ESports Oval League's Grind Cup Series. Thank you all for tuning into our coverage here tonight from the high banks of Talladega. Congratulations to Peyton Holland on his first victory on the season, and best of luck to the Championship 4. I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.